So finally, after literally months and months of rumours and expectations and all kinds of shenanigans, Pocophone has launched the Poco F2 Pro smartphone, a proper successor to the original Poco F1, which provided sterling performance on a very restrictive budget. And before we get into it, yes, as everyone was kind of expecting, the Poco F2 Pro is basically the Redmi K30 Pro, just rebranded, except of course with a nice bit of the Poco Launcher on there instead of the MIUI. And before you point out, hey, this is the Poco F2 Pro, where's the standard Poco F2? Well, nobody really knows, best just not to think about it. So yeah, it's kind of a shame that Pocophone didn't try and put a bit of extra effort in, do something a bit more revolutionary, but the K30 Pro looks like a great handset, and coupled with that excellent Poco Launcher software that we all know and love, this could be a solid handset for anyone who's more demanding user, but doesn't have fat stacks clogging up their wallet. So diving into the design first, and you get a nice Gorilla Glass 5 finish front and back, so at least the Poco F2 Pro should prove nice and hardy. You get a simple but reasonably sleek look and finish, and it is available in boring old white and grey, but you do have neon blue or electric purple options if you fancy a bit more colour in your life. However, if the hardware is exactly the same as that K30 Pro, then you can expect a serious 218 gram heft to this thing. But once you dive into the specs, unsurprisingly, the Poco F2 Pro really delivers as far as performance goes. This is of course the area where Pocophone really excels compared with a lot of similarly priced rivals. What you get in here is Qualcomm's top-end premium flagship platform, the Snapdragon 865, which is found in a lot of super premium smartphones that are twice the price of the Poco F2 Pro. The most affordable device I've seen this in so far this year is the Realme X50 Pro, which comes in at around the sort of £500 price point. And don't worry if you plan on passing self-isolation by basically playing PubG Mobile all day long, because the Poco F2 Pro sports liquid cool technology too, which offers multi-directional heat dissipation. Ooh, very fancy. In fact, gamers in general should be very well catered for by the Poco F2 Pro, because not only do you have the premium performance and that apparently efficient cooling technology as well, but you've also got a 180Hz touch sampling rate. What that means is every poke and prod should be instantly recognized by the smartphone. It's great news for any titles that require an instant reaction or death, so something fast and furious like PubG Mobile, bit of Call of Duty, stuff like that. And a lot of dedicated gaming smartphones, they reach the sort of 240Hz touch sampling rate, but to be honest, 180Hz is all you really need. Definitely right up there with a lot of other flagship Android smartphones. And if you do like gaming on the go as well, you've got full 5G support, and there's Wi-Fi 6 support in there as well, in case you've got the latest hardware in your house for wireless networking. Now you've actually got two different SKUs of Poco F2 Pro to choose from, so deep breath, you can either grab a 6GB model with DDR4 RAM and 128GB of UFS 3.0 storage, or if you've got a bit more scratch to spend, then you can buy an 8GB DDR5 model with 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage. And both of those models come with a 4700mAh battery, which should happily see you through a full day of pretty full-on slog, and that's even despite the quite demanding hardware. And in the launcher, Pocophone was actually comparing it with the S20 Plus, and it obviously came out quite favourably, although they were comparing it to the Exynos version of the Samsung phone, which is hardly as fair. As for the charger, not quite as impressive. It's 30W wired charging, so you don't get this sexy 65W charging of something like the recent Oppo smartphones or the Realmes. Media fans should really love that 6.67-inch AMOLED display though, especially the fact that there is no notch or pinhole camera action on there. You actually get a pop-up selfie camera, something I haven't seen in a little while, so it was great to see. Very cute indeed. You get a full HD Plus resolution, same as many rivals around this sort of price point, and you do have full HDR10 Plus support, which is great to hear, and that's supported by the likes of Netflix and Amazon Prime Video for some really nice natural looking colours and strong contrast. There was no express mention of the refresh rate, however, in the launch, so you can assume it's just got the standard 60Hz refresh instead of a boosted 90Hz for a more silky, smooth experience. Shouldn't be any problem with visibility though, even on a super bright summery day, because it reaches 1200 nits on that peak brightness level. And you also get a fingerprint sensor actually built into the display itself as well, and hopefully a nice bit of face recognition, even though it's got that pop-up selfie camera. And while there was no mention of the actual speakers on the Poco F2 Pro, if it's the exact same setup as the K30 Pro, which it basically sounds like, then you can just expect a single mono speaker housed on the bottom edge rather than a sexy stereo speaker setup. But in better news, you do at least get support for Super Bluetooth and a nice bit of headphone jack action on the Poco F2 Pro as well. Hooray! Now, one of the only real differences between the Poco F2 Pro and that Redmi K30 Pro is the fact that of course you get the Poco Launcher 2.0 here on the Pocophone. That's instead of Xiaomi's MIUI launcher, which is found on the Redmi handset, and that's great news for anyone who likes a nice stock version of Android. You'll get Android 10, of course, here on the Poco F2 Pro. And I absolutely love the Poco Launcher, as you'll know if you've seen my roundups of the best Android launchers you can download from the Google Play Store. You can actually go and download it right now for your Android handset and give it a go. It's a nice clean stock version of Android, adds some great customization options in there though, and a few little tweaks that are quite nifty, such as for instance the addition of a search bar down at the bottom of the App Store. And the good news is you do get NFC support here on the Poco F2 Pro as well for your contactless payments. Now last up is the camera tech, and the Poco F2 Pro uses a quad lens setup slapped there on the back. You get a 64 megapixel primary lens using Sony's IMX686 sensor. That's the natural successor to the IMX586, which of course proved very popular indeed. The 686 you'll already find on a plethora of Xiaomi handsets, and so far it's looking pretty good for your everyday photos and home movies. You also get a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and a 5 megapixel telemacro lens, which basically looks like a slightly posher way of saying a macro lens. Can be used to capture some really intricate up close detail of a subject from a very small distance. Certainly the examples they gave in the launch were very impressive indeed. It'll be interesting to see how well it actually copes in the real world. And last up in that quad lens setup is a basic 2 megapixel depth sensor for your portrait shots. And Pocophone also announced that the Poco F2 Pro will be able to shoot up to 8K resolution home movies as well, although they didn't say if there was any kind of time limit involved in that. I'm guessing be able to shoot a few minutes of footage at most. And before I forget, of course, that 20 megapixel pop-up selfie camera as well, which can be used to shoot some nice crisp video and some nice slow motion video apparently as well, so be looking forward to testing that out for all of the Instagram action. So the Poco F2 Pro is actually on sale from today. Checking out the prices, you can grab that 6GB model for €499 and the 8GB model for €599. It's available today from GearBest, but it will be coming to the likes of Amazon and Poco.net very soon as well. And so far, despite the disappointment of it basically being a rebranded Redmi smartphone, certainly looks like stunning value for money. Basically, if you want the power, the performance and the great features of something like the Red Magic 5G, but you don't want something that looks like a gaming smartphone, you want more conventional design, then it looks like the Poco F2 Pro could definitely scratch that itch. But what do you reckon? Are you disappointed, excited? It'd be great to hear your own thoughts and emotions. Definitely please slap those down below in some sort of coherent fashion. Please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell and do all that other YouTube shenanigans as well. And thank you very much for watching. Cheers everyone, love you.